Hello again. Today we're matching expressions with its simplest form. So here I have three different expressions, and I need to reduce these expressions to their simplest form. So let's start with number 1. Alright, with number 1, I have 35x over 7x to the third. Well, 35 is 5 times 7, and then it's also times x there on top. And on the bottom, I have 7 times x times x times x, because it's x to the third. Now, I look for the things in my fraction that I can cancel out, and I see that I have a 7 and a 7, and I have an x that cancels with that x. So what that means is I am left with a 5 on top and x times x on the bottom, which is x squared. Okay? Now, I'm going to do number 2, and the first thing I'm going to do on top is look for what can I factor out of the top. And I see that the lowest power of x on the top is x squared. So I will factor an x squared out of the top because I can't factor something out of 7 and 8. So I will only factor out the x squared, which means that that is 8 minus 7x. And on the bottom, I have an x. Now, be mindful that this is the same as x times 8 minus 7x all over x. And then I can cancel one of the x's on top and the x on the bottom. And my final answer is x times 8 minus 7x. And for number 3, I have to look and see what can I factor out on the top. I can factor out a 5, and I can factor out an x, and then I see that the lowest power of x is 2, so I'll factor out a 5x squared. So when I divide both terms by 5x squared, I get 5x to the third power plus 3. Now I look to the bottom of the fraction to see what can I factor out. And it looks like I can factor out an x, so I'll factor out an x. And what's left when I factor out an x is 5x to the third plus 3. So I notice that I have a 5x to the third plus 3 on the top and the bottom, so those cancel. And remember, 5x squared is the same as 5x times x. So I can actually cancel one of those x's, so I can just cross out that squared and I can scribble out my x. So all I'm left with is 5x. So my answers are 5x squared, x times 8 minus 7x, and 5x. So now let's match these with our answers on the bottom. So A is 5x. So that means that 3 is A, B is 5 over x squared, which means that 1 is B, and C is x times 8 minus 7x, which is the answer for number 2. So our answers for 1, 2, and 3 are B, C, and A. And that's how you match expressions with their simplest form.